where are we going? What are we really trying to get to legislation wise, in your opinion? Who's going to be the first actor here? Are we really relying on corporate action? Should be pushing more and more for legislative action? Where do consumers fall into this still in your view? With those three players in mind, how do we really push more and more action in this space?
Yeah. So I think there's a couple of, and it's always multifaceted of how we approach this. There isn't a silver bullet. We all have to do our part and all of that. I think with legislation, it's very important so that we have a level field for everybody to play in, right? But what's more important, once again, going back to electronics, like all the electronic companies want to do the right thing, but they can't have a law in California that's different than New Jersey, and then there's none in South Dakota. So we need federal legislation. And we really need to push our elected officials to get federal standards because it's going to make a stronger economy. So that's what we need to do with legislation. Also with legislation, what most people don't understand is, and having been an activist for way too many years, is there's usually no funding tied to legislation. Like we're just fighting to get that law through. And that's not fair to anybody. There's no funding to go out and find those people that are bad actors. There's no funding to create these new reprocessing plants or to create new economies that are based on our natural world. So we have to have the funding for enforcement and for innovation.
Of which, in those two thoughts, I mean, that's really important, is usually that regulation piece that many talk about. It's like, well, you're going to stifle innovation. It's like, no, we're going to just produce innovation in another way. And you're never going to stifle innovation. You can only guide it. It's a river of knowledge that will always flow. And so it's like, you just have to keep guiding it to a more sustainable future. And I think that was so key in what you just said.